Welcome to your intramural softball captain's meeting. Please make sure you watch all slides and then take the quiz at the end because your team will not be scheduled until the captain completes the quiz. If you need to get a hold of us, your confirmation information number is right above us here. Please use the campus number. However, this year the graduate assistant that's in charge is Kyle Schrader, and you can see his contact information there, or you may contact me, Bob Lay, Rec Sports Director, at the email address above. To have a team get scheduled, you must have an intramural leagues account, and every player on your team must have a WWWIM leagues account. You have to have the minimum number of players accepted to be on a team before you will be scheduled. And captains, you must, as I mentioned before, take that information quiz at the end before you'll be scheduled for your first game. Please make sure you tell your players to log on and get their own account. You may play in only one team per sport. However, this year we have added a co-rec league. So you may play in the co-rec league and then in your gender sport. In other words, you can be a fraternity person and a sorority person and play also in the co-rec league. But you cannot be, say, a male and play in a men's league and a fraternity league. Undergraduate people must be enrolled in 9 hours currently this semester to be able to play. And any varsity athlete who played baseball or softball in the past 365 days with a collegiate varsity team is ineligible to play. Also ineligibles are redshirts, current redshirts, scholastically ineligibles, and JV players that are now playing and on the roster. This shows you associated sports, which I already mentioned. Anybody that's played professionally is also ineligible. Pledges may, or associate members may play in that organization as soon as they pledge. However, after playing in one contest with a given team, the player may not transfer to another team. You must stay on that first team that you played with. Also, do not use any assumed names to play. And this is extremely important, all players must show their Bearcat card before they play in each game. So make sure to tell all your players to bring their Bearcat cards, and until they show that, they'll not be allowed to play. You have to have a certain number of players to play this sport and to start a game, and in softball that's 7. So 7 players must be there by game time, not 1 minute late, not 5 minutes late, but at least at the start time. If other players come after that, they may be added to the contest. Protests. There's no protest for any judgment calls. We'll talk more about this later, but only for interpretations of eligibility, and we'll cover that a little bit more. Any team player with an ineligible player loses all rights to protest a game on any basis. If for some reason you cannot make the game that is scheduled, you must call the Recreation Center office by 2 p.m. that day. That's 562-1606. You may default that contest and still be kept in the league. If you just don't show up to play or don't have enough people, you will be forfeited out and no longer be able to play. Postponements will only be made through the campus recreation office. Usually when we postpone this, we do this by 2 o'clock Monday through Thursday, and the rainouts, things like that will be made at that time, but not before. We usually do not reschedule any types of games. This is very hard too because we have a limited number of slots that we can use for the fields that are made available to us. But if you do, this is the procedure. You may read through this, go back, take a look at it. You have to go through this process, and you are the ones that change it, and then contact the intramural office. Really, the only reason for postponement should be a heavy class load by team members or the players are gone because of university functions. Now we'll get into some softball rules. We'll pay attention to basically the ones in red. However, please take your time and read through them because you are responsible for passing this on to your team members. Any type of foul ball. A foul ball is a ball that's hit by a batter that you see in those ones past there. There are a couple of questions about foul balls on your test, so make sure that you read that. Shoes. You must have shoes made of soft or hard rubber, but no metal cleats are not permitted. No metal spikes of any sort. They either need to be ceramic or hard rubber. And people must play in closed-toe shoes. You cannot play in bare feet or flip-flops. Home runs. Each team will be limited to one over-the-fence home run per their half inning. If more home runs are hit over the fence, they'll be counted as a single. You can hit as many inside the park home runs as you can get in each inning. Also, we have a time limit. We will try to play 7 innings, but no inning will start 40 minutes after the starting time. So if your game starts at 3:30, and no top half of the inning will begin after 4:10. A substitute may take the place of any player in the batting order of the team. However, once a player has been substituted for, they can only withdraw and then enter that one time, but they still stay in the same batting order of the lineup. They'll be in the order they were in. So if you want to trade people back and forth in the field, that's all right. 7 players are needed to begin play. 10 on the field's a maximum. All fielders must bat. If you have less than 10 players, there will not be an out with those people playing there. And one thing you can do if you'd like to at the start of the game, if you have more than 10 players, you can list an extra hitter, which means this person will bat each time. And then if you want to trade them in and out, you can do that. But the batting order always stays the same. Each batter starts with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike to try to speed up the game. If you foul off on strike 3 is an out. And if the ball hits the mat or plate, it is a strike. And there are no height restrictions. They can throw it as high in the air as they want to or as flat as they want to. We will not be calling those types of pitches. The batter's out if the ball touches the batter while they're trying to hit a 3rd strike, when the batter chops or bunts the ball, or when the batter uses an illegal bat. They're also disqualified for this. Make sure that on protest, it's just if you have a misinterpretation of a rule, it may be made before the next pitch and before all fielders leave fair territory. If it's an illegal player, the protest must be made while the player is still in the game and before the umpires have left the field. Any type of ineligible player, the protest must be made within 24 hours after the end of the contest to the campus recreation office in writing. Again, no protests for judgment calls. Please make sure you list all players' first and last names on the scorecard, and we do not want to go with any nicknames like Skippy or Homer or King or anything like that. Please use first and last names. No infield practice before the game. Warm up on the grass outside the field, and we're going to get people in and out and take 1 warm-up pitch and then go. It's your responsibility to make sure all members of your team know all these rules. In most cases, we have a player argue with an umpire or supervisors because they're ignorant of the rules, and that is not an excuse to yell at someone just because you don't know what the rule is. The rules are found right here on the I Am Leagues account. If you look over there underneath the reference links, it will say sports rules and forms. If you click on that, there'll be one for softball, and you can click that, send that to your players. Make sure you have a copy of that so you know what all the rules are. Please make sure that you take your quiz by Tuesday, September 3rd, 11:59 p.m. so your team may be scheduled the first week. If this quiz is not taken, you will not be allowed to be scheduled that first week, and we want everybody to be able to play.